Hey everybody, welcome back to During Business Hours. My name's Christopher. I'm here with Jesse Cruz, owner-operator of VCC Board Repair.
Board repairs.
All right, Board Repairs. How you doing today, Jesse?
Doing good. And yourself?
Pretty good. Let's get her started. How you been?
Good. And yourself?
Busy, trying to move states, as you know.
I saw your post. Yeah.
Not fun. The moving process is tedious and annoying, but, you know.
So you're still in California right now?
Unfortunately, Northern California.
Yeah.
So
I heard
much
it's
crazy.
not as bad as SoCal.
It's there, man. It's definitely there.
Yeah.
I am surprised that people are like, it can't be that bad. And I'm like, well, you've never seen a war zone. We have 2 homeless people at our place of business that come and shit next to the front door every day.
No.
Yeah. I'm in the process of making a video of how many times we have contacted the police and said, hey, these people need to be relocated. And they're like, it's a civil matter. You can take them to court. So
like that's going to work.
Sue a homeless person for what? The pants they're wearing to wipe their ass? It's horrible. It's just now my kids and my family can't be around, which is nuts. It just makes it hard.
Yeah, I don't know how it got that bad. Like, I grew up in LA, and I mean there was always homeless people, but like the past few years, it's just like homeless camps like on every freeway on ramp. It's crazy, man.
So you're originally from LA, right?
Yeah.
Like you born and bred, or are you from anywhere else? Did you move to LA?
No, I was born in like downtown LA, or not downtown, a little off to the east, but yeah, Los Angeles City. I was born, and then I basically lived in Montebello, which is a city a little further east from LA. So maybe like 20-minute drive to downtown LA. But yeah.
I was very familiar when I was a kid with Mesa Verde and the Kaleidoscope.
I don't know what that is.
It's near San Diego. A buddy of mine lived
Okay.
there, so I would travel and drive down or fly down a couple of times. To drive down mostly because we couldn't afford tickets, and hang out there. It was a lovely place. It was like the rich suburban area of LA.
Okay.
And you had all the hipster, kids come from money. It was an interesting time because I come from here in Rio Linda, Redneckville.
Yeah.
And it was nothing special, but the stark difference now of like flying to Disney, you almost have to have armored cars to get through anywhere because there's so many communities of beggars. Like everyone feels sorry for their unfortunate events that have led them to whatever they're doing now. But there's some people that are straight regular people that just dress up, bring their kids out, and then ask for money because it pays well and it's tax free.
Right. Yeah.
And you have to hold that with a grain of salt. It's real hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you lived here, so Skid Row was still a thing. When did you move? 2020, 2019?
Yeah. Late 2020.
Yeah. So it wasn't as bad after the pandemic.
No, yeah, it was pretty bad. I mean, I would say like starting like 2019 is when it really started to ramp up. Like driving through downtown LA, there's like a few spots where you like go under a few bridges, and like I think we found some old pictures where like in the past the bridge was clear, and then like before we moved, you could see like all the tents and stuff like on the edge of the bridge. Like from the top view, you could see it. It's man, how?
It's the same here, and it's almost like Facebook. Yeah. Every time I post the tent cities, Facebook and Instagram will delete the post immediately. It's almost like they don't want to show how bad things have gotten because it's too much realism to the online and social lives. Similar to this kind of interview that I'm doing. I thought it was a decent idea to ask people like, hey, where are you from? Because everyone knows the front side of your social media profile. Yeah. And through this, I've found out people are not doing as well as they tend to perceive online. You got some big ballers out there that are living in like trailers and stuff. And I feel bad for them. They're really struggling, but they're like, no, you got to put it out there. Fake it till you make it. I'm like, that's a hustler's
Yeah.
mind for sure.
Yeah.
I just didn't realize it was that easy,
Yeah. So, I mean, sometimes you can kind of tell like they might be exaggerating their lifestyle, but
It's a lot of the phone flippers too, because
yeah.
those were the first people who reached out to me and were like, "Hey, can I jump on?" Like, yeah, we'll sit for 30 minutes, find out your story.
Yeah.
Where's your family from originally?
So my mom's from Guatemala and my dad's from Mexico. They basically immigrated here in their teens, early 20s, I think my mom came like at 15ish, my dad like at 18ish. And yeah, they worked, and then they had me and my brother, and yeah, we grew up in LA, and here I am.
So did you get that business owner mindset? Is that from your family? Do they own
Yeah.
businesses, or are they just hardworking people and you kind of picked up on what they were doing?
Yeah, so my dad has been working his whole life basically. He's basically been working at the same job since before I was born. Basically, when my parents met, he was at that job, and he's still there now. So I guess the work ethic I got from my dad. He for like not until maybe 10 years ago did he work 7 days a week at that job. The nice thing about that job is like he's real close with the owners and stuff, so he can do as much overtime as he wants. So he makes more money. So that's kind of like the thing. I mean, his salary, like his hourly rate, is so low, but he just pumps in that overtime. So it's good money for him. He's a manager there, so it's not like hard work, but still like that. He was working 7 days a week, 10, 12 hours a day, and I probably got that from him. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, so she was there raising us. But yeah, they don't own businesses. No one in my immediate family owns businesses or anything. I think that's just something that like I kind of absorbed or learned just from online, just from like listening to different podcasts and YouTube videos and stuff. But I got really excited learning about like people starting businesses. And
What were you doing before you started this business? What were you working on? Like a 9 to 5 or?
Yeah, so I guess I've always been into like technology. Like in high school, I was doing a lot of like gaming, Counter-Strike back in the day. So you had the better computer you had, the more advantage you had, no lag and stuff like that. So I've always like, like when we got a computer, I always wanted to upgrade the video cards. And I figured like maybe it's good money and like fixing computers.
Yep.
So I was kind of into that. And I always figured like, once I get out of high school, I could get a job fixing computers. But I never really found that. So I guess, first few jobs were just kind of like dead end jobs, like minimum wage kind of stuff. My first job was actually with my dad. It's a warehouse where they make textile, like fabric. So I was loading up the semi trucks with the giant rolls of fabric like all day long. And it was like $6.25 an hour, but we would get a lot of overtime, but even then it was like nothing.
At that point, it's minimum wage now. Yeah.
Yeah, and now back then it was $6.25 an hour, so my paychecks were like $200 a week. Yeah, but it was my first job, and they kind of just forced me like, hey, you need to get a job. So I was like, all right. But after that, I worked a few crappy jobs, and then I was like, that whole computer thing seems interesting. I gotta figure out how to get into that because I could probably get paid more. And so during my childhood, watching TV, there's those ITT Tech commercials and DeVry, like technical schools.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, well, maybe ITT Tech. So I went to DeVry and ITT Tech for the interviews to go like sign up, and I ended up going with ITT Tech. So I went to school for that, and they kind of pitched it to me like, yeah, you'll learn how to fix computers and stuff, but they didn't really cover that specifically.
Yeah.
But I did get like technical, like engineering, kind of electrical
basic
knowledge.
Peace of mind of the gen ed mixed with or sprinkled with CompTIA knowledge.
Yeah, just like electronics, volts, amps, stuff like that. So from there, I ended up getting a job at a GPS manufacturer. So they make different GPS based products like USB GPS trackers. I was there for like 8 years. I was mostly tech support and just like, testing, troubleshooting their devices and stuff. Um, but it was kind of like a dead end job. I was there for 8 years and I was like real comfortable. I was real cool with everyone, with the owners and the bosses. So they would let me get away with stuff. I'd come in late and they wouldn't really say anything. So
did you experiment at all with, when was the first time you fixed a phone?
Yeah. So during that job, that's when I kind of started like noticing like, yeah, I'm way too comfortable here and I'm not going to make real money here. So I first started off flipping. So I got into buying and reselling stuff like from yard sales, Goodwill, OfferUp, and selling on eBay and Amazon, like reselling it. And then in that process, I came across people posting about reselling phones. And I'm like, all right, well, I know phones. Like I was like really into just learning about Android phones and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I was real familiar with the software side of things, but not the parts, replacing them. But
custom OSs like Nova Launcher, all that.
Yeah,
stuff
I was doing a lot of routing and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
like back in the day. Like, so yeah, I was like, well, I already know how to flip stuff, so why not do some phones? So I started buying iPhones, and just selling them online for like as is. But then I figured I could fix it and then sell it for even more. So I started fixing the phones and reselling them. And in that process, like the whole time I was doing flipping, I started documenting all that like on Instagram, on Facebook.
Yeah.
So I was posting like, oh, look, one time I bought a Nintendo, like 3 Nintendo 64s with like 20 games and like 8 controllers, like this whole bundle for like $200. And I was like basically bragging about it on Instagram, like check out the lot I got. And then I created bundles for each one and like sold them for like $200-$300 each.
That's a proud moment.
Yeah. So I was doing all this and then I started posting the phone repair stuff. And then like from there, people started messaging me like, hey, I see you can fix phones. Like, how much to fix mine? So it was a lot of friends and family kind of stuff. Yeah. And then like in that process, I was like, man, it's so much easier for people to come to me to fix their phones than me spend all day driving around trying to find, good deals from like Goodwill or like meeting up with some random person from OfferUp.
Just being declared a flipper. Yeah. You strike me as the type in the groups from where we know each other as legitimately proud of what you do compared to there are so many people that post their flips, that post what they fix, and they're like advertising to drum business. Yeah. You've been doing this a while.
Yeah.
And you document everything because you are legitimately a happier person by doing so.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, I was just kind of, it's in a way showing off, but I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just like, check out what's possible.
You're happy, you're excited. You want to tear it down and examine it for everyone to have more eyes on it, not for yourself, but that's the idea that I get when looking at your content. The difference between, say, yours or Dustin's. Dustin is doing it. He's busy, wants to document it. There's times where he gets, okay, the content is secondary, but I see you every day in the feed just throwing out. You're like the technological T. Martin. And I know you know that. Back in the Counter-Strike 1.5 days, Syndicate, T. Martin, the YouTubers.
No, I never saw those.
You played Counter-Strike and you don't know who those are?
1.5, 1.6.
Yeah, God, that was
I was deep in there, but I don't think I ever watched any videos on it.
I was the king of FY Ice World. Headshots through the walls all day. But no, you have a genuine happiness compared to most of these flippers. So it's impressive because most of these guys will do it for 3 months. They'll make it seem like it's some business core value of theirs to make sure that people are taught or listen, and then their courses die off, or their teachings or their reels, or they're not posting as much, and then sooner or later they start another job or they got a state, or they're a real estate broker now.
Oh yeah.
It's a big thing right now. People are coming out of the woodworks. Everyone's a real estate broker.
Yeah.
I don't know why. But what motivates you to do this?
I don't know. It's kind of cool. Just I think also like some of it is just like, hey, check this out. This is cool. This is possible. I think a lot of things people don't know what I do is possible. So a lot of it is that. And I don't know, I just find it fun and like being transparent with, some of what I do here. It's kind of what drives me.
Did you find a benefit moving to Vegas?
Oh, yeah.
Money wise, was it business wise? What was the main goal?
The main reason was we wanted a house, and a house in LA we would never be able to afford at that time. Like, just very expensive for like a low quality house. Like 600,000 would be the base price for a 3-bedroom 2-bath kind of typical house. In a whatever neighborhood, maybe not the safest. And if you want to get a really decent house in a nice neighborhood, it would be like 700,000-800,000, and just like no way we can do that. Plus at that time, the whole COVID lockdown started happening, so that really pushed us. State income tax, there's no state income tax here in Vegas or in Nevada. Sales tax is a little lower. It's like 1 or 2% lower. I mean, that wasn't a big deal because it's not that much. Gas prices were lower here. There's just like so many things. We just figured, we got to get out of LA. The homeless people were getting what we talked about.
My wife was the same way. I was trying to convince her for years to leave as soon as we got married. And all of a sudden COVID happens and we travel out of the state a bunch of times. And I was like, well, listen, we're spending 40 cents on the dollar right now, on average, 40 cents on the dollar just to taxes.
Yeah.
We're probably taking home 20 after kids, cost, everything. We got 20 to do what we want with. Let's take that and then earn that 40 back by moving out of state.
It was like an instant raise, basically.
It's horrible. I don't know why there's not a universal state tax. That would make it so much easier. Everyone gets the same, delegate it to yourselves. No state tax. I understand they got gambling over there. I'd probably spend a lot of money gambling. I'm horrible with it. I need to stay away. So when you moved, you had a whole new house built, right? It was a new project?
Yeah. So it was a new construction, which takes about 6 months. So we had to get into contract 6 months before we actually moved. So, and it was all like everything kind of timing just worked out perfect because at the time, my current job, I was already working from home in LA. And then the COVID thing happened. So they like literally shut down the office and everyone worked from home. Like when we actually went into contract, it wasn't officially approved for me to work out of state, but we just like, I was it was a new job from the one I previously mentioned. Mm-hmm. So they were like, but I was already like really good there. Like everyone, the owners and bosses loved me. And I figured like, they're not going to let me go if I convince them to let me work from home full time out of state. So we did it anyway. We signed the contract, and then I had let my boss know, hey, this is what we want to do. And they're like, yeah, I mean, it should be doable, but we'll see. Let's talk when we get closer. And then COVID, like officially, lockdown happened, and then it was pretty much it. They had no choice but to just say yes.
So you had all that time from there to start your business. What made you take the final leap to quit that job? Was you were already working from home doing both, right? And managing your time?
I was doing full-time job, like 9 to 5 type job, since 2016 is really when I officially launched the repair shop. Full-time job up until like May 2021. It's when I finally quit repairs full-time. So this whole time before that, I was doing basically day job, and then I get home around 5 or 6 ish, and then I would do repairs all night until 2 a.m. And just kind of been doing that. And then finally 2021, I was already, here in Vegas. I had my own house. I had plenty of repairs. I actually wanted to quit before, but in order to get approved for a mortgage, it's a lot harder when you have your own business versus, day job. So we kind of just,
push through.
Yeah, I just pushed through. And once I moved, I was like, all right, I should quit. But then it's like, well, we have a mortgage now, so it's a lot more risky. Let's just stay on the job just to see how, the new location works out. But yeah, like I was just so busy.
There's a lot of people in these groups that work a 9 to 5 and try and flip or repair on the side.
Yeah.
I think Kevin Hutchinson was one who was doing it and reached out to the group. Everyone gave him overwhelming support to quit his job. Now he's been doing it for, I think, a year. He was celebrating yesterday on Facebook.
Yeah.
And congrats to him. Brick and mortar store, killing it. What would you tell somebody being in their same shoes who's debating or sitting there with their wife, their girlfriend going, I don't know, what should I do? What would you tell them?
Yeah, I mean, I think first you got to be realistic on the business. Is it really bringing in that much money where, let's say you quit your job, are you going to be able to sustain yourself? Definitely also have some savings in case the first few months are rough, you still have some money as backup. But I mean, if you're so busy that it's affecting, either your day job's being affected or your business being affected, I would say just, quit the job, because, working hourly, you can work so hard in 1 hour and still make, $15 or $20, whatever you're making, even if you're making $30, like doing phone repair, one screen repair, you can make like $60 in 20 minutes, profit.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, that's kind of what drew me to like phone repairs in the beginning. It's just like, I'm making 15 at my job, or I could fix the screen and make 60 or 40 to 60 or whatever at the time profit. It was like, if I could just get 8 repairs in a day times that, that's already 8 hours at the job for $15 an hour, or 8 repairs at $40 each. I'm already way ahead. So,
and when I started, it was very similar, because the 4S, I could get a screen for, I think it was $26 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And the repair was $100.
Right.
And so, and I've used this in hiring people, because there's a way where you want to get it done a lot faster to maximize the profit. And so I would get it down to 25, 20 minutes sometimes.
Yeah.
And those were full body teardowns.
Yeah.
And I was doing it at a flea market with people standing all around like a crowd. And so it became this almost magician circle where people were like, how you do that? How you do that? And you're answering questions while doing it. So it was a lot more stressful. And we used to have the store where people could just view you work in front of the customers. And it got a little too crazy for the employees. But nowadays, if an employee doesn't have that same drive to get it done faster, they're not going to be around for a long time, because they don't have the drive to make more in the idea for time, because they're making more for the store, they'll make more for themselves, so on and so forth.
Right.
But most store or business owners that have employees tend to spawn that drive in those people, give them that hustle. It's astonishing that you did it through COVID, because a lot of people pulled back and then saved from their safety nets, or tried to get the grants and say, hey, well, I need the money.
PPP loans.
Yeah, the loans, and they kind of sat there. We didn't take any loans until 2021. We got the PPP for like $15,000, but there were some people getting $500,000.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you didn't get any because you didn't have any employees or a physical location. But
no. I mean, I'm technically my own employee. Like I'm on the payroll, but I had a lot of people like, yeah, bro, just take the loan. I'm like, I don't need it.
It was a hassle
to
get it forgiven, for sure.
Yeah.
The after effects from starting, did you have any struggles in 2021 behind the scenes, trying to figure things out? What did you
No, I mean, honestly, it might sound crazy, but my only struggle is just keeping up. Because like, being that I'm so like transparent on social media, like of everything I do, people just see me as like an expert. I'm not the best. Like I'll admit that I'm not the best at a lot of different types of repairs, but what I do know how to do, I do my best and I post it publicly. So, I think I'm always top of mind to people who need this work. So I get flooded with repairs, like so many. Like right now, like my whole workbench is full. I have a tray full of devices. I have another tray full of like, I would say 50 plus phones in line to be repaired. With the incoming every day, 3 or 5 packages with, 3 or 5 phones each. It's just like,
there was a time that I wanted strictly to do what you're doing now with mail-ins. 2018-ish. I was like, I'm going to set up micro soldering. I'm going to take these courses. It was something I really wanted to do until I had kids, man. And then time is what I want. So I haven't, I think the iPhone 11 was the last intimate phone. The iPhone 11 was the last intimate phone that I know fairly well to replace everything I need.
Right.
Anything else, I just haven't really cared to learn. And I've been dealing with, other things, but my goal has become free time, prosperity elsewhere, being a business owner that's not the operator.
Right,
and, Benjamin talks about that all the time.
Yeah.
His SOPs are hilarious on social media. They're too complex.
Yeah. I mean, I'm totally on board with, his mindset and all that about that. Eventually that's something I want to do as well, be like more free time, less hands-on and how the business run itself. But, I'm still trying to figure out how I can do that in my situation, being that it's kind of like a unique or not a common setup, because I'm basically the business. So I got to figure out how to shift that to employees to run it. And then I'll just be the one bringing in the business. So I'm hoping I can do that with the whole YouTube thing. I'm getting a lot of requests through YouTube. Eventually, I'm sure I could hire some techs. I could teach them to do the work, and then I'll focus in on bringing in the business.
Well, I know Rossman, he's kind of kicked back from doing the repairs too, right? Yeah. So maybe one day you'll be because now there's an empty space there. Maybe you'll be the Rossman showing people everything. And then, I think it's gradual. Everyone wants to expand and do something different over the course of their life. Because right now, perfect world, what's your end goal? What's your retirement look like?
Like how do I see my retirement look? I don't know. I do live a lot in the now, or like the short term. Not that I don't have like long-term plans, but eventually I do want to have like that free time, have like that passive income coming in, so I can then do whatever I want, whether it's travel or cruises or just hang out and
all the
do fun stuff.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't mind doing like YouTube full time, just doing like, I'm doing a lot of reviews recently. I have a lot of companies messaging me, emailing me like, hey, review our product. And I wouldn't mind doing stuff like that to generate like that passive income, spend a few hours recording a video. Once you post it, just nonstop, revenue. So
that you can build a brand on that and being the guy that trusts the products. Because there's a lot of companies out there that get paid tens of thousands of dollars to say this Weehaw screwdriver that falls apart is the best. And they make 10x whatever they're paying people. Yeah. It's a big business. I know I saw somebody was saying they had done a screwdriver review for, I think it was Weehaw, and the entire motor mechanism fell out, and they got their YouTube struck for the content. This is, what was it?
You mean they got a strike against their account?
Yeah, because they played part of the advertising for the video. I don't know if it was WeHa. I have to look into it. But yeah, so basically the company got so mad at the review because they played a piece of their content that they sent them for the review that they struck them. And they're like, I guess I'll keep the money. But having a strike on the channel is never fun.
No. I've seen people, there's like somewhere in the YouTube studio settings where you can see if someone has used your content in their video. Like I guess it can detect, the video file is playing somewhere else. So I came across that and I saw that there's like a bunch of random channels reposting my videos as theirs. What? Yeah, so all of them I marked them as, to shut down the video. But they literally don't mention like, oh, this is, VCC board repairs, check them out. It's more like there's some random micro soldering channel and they just have a bunch of copied content. Like I browse their channel and they just have bunch of other channels content posted as their, well, I mean, they're not claiming as theirs, they just post it on their channel.
Wouldn't it be smart to copyright that and then you would earn the revenue from it?
I don't think those channels are monetized. They didn't have that option. So, but yeah, I don't know what the goal of that channel is. It's just to, I guess, become monetized, but I don't know if they even can, because I think YouTube automatically detects if it's original content or not. Yeah, and they just won't count that towards your, your points, so to speak, to earn money on there. But I don't know. It's just weird because, I was like, wait, that's my video.
Would you say that your entire from 9 to 5 to owning your own business, moving out of state, would you say it was a typical journey for an American? Or would you say that you've had, let me ask this question. Would you say that you've had a lucky or a more motivated, hardworking journey?
I think there's some parts of it that was just luck, but it was just coincidence. And, I do believe that you do get lucky if you are presented opportunities and you take them, Sometimes there's opportunities everywhere and a lot of people just don't take them. So if you never try any of them, you're never going to get those lucky breaks, So I think it's a mixture. I did work a lot. When I got married back in 2016, that really changed a lot of my behavior. I went from, going to bars and clubs nonstop every weekend to, staying home and, really having that drive to build something for the family, So I went from, partying to working from, 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. to earn more money because, eventually, you got to buy a house and, build a future. And you can't do that if you're spending all your money on partying. So I did, work a lot of hours. I was focused. I had this drive to make it work. And, I did try a lot of things before to make money. In like high school, I was selling burned CDs, for people because I had Napster and a CD burner. And,
I always had like how to sell.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So I always, I was flipping random stuff from Goodwill. But I think once I found the phone repair stuff, I was like, okay, this is
just clicked.
Yeah, this one's really working. So once I saw, I felt that and I enjoyed it, that's kind of where I just went 100%. And I think anyone who wants to do this, they can do it. They just got to sacrifice, I sacrificed, many nights of sleep to get to where I am.
That's good. So, yeah, I drill legacy to everyone I talk to about, so I do consulting on the side, and you have to have something you're building for, whether it's to sell, to give, to breed more, to franchise, which everyone always says franchise.
Yeah.
Do something. There has to be a legacy to what you're doing, whether it's for yourself or others. And when you get married, your life changes. When you have kids, your life changes.
Yeah.
Any plan of kids in the future?
Dogs.
Yeah.
We're still kind of on the fence, we still have some years to
Dog
make that
life right
decision. You know, right now we are like, we're still like in the, you know, work as much as we can now, build up some, you know, build something first so we can then kind of more cool down a little bit later.
Yeah.
Especially now, you know, when you're young, you have more energy, so you're able to do more. But we're also kind of like, do you want to work hard until you're old and then have fun, or do you want to kind of enjoy some of that now as well? And then
How old are you right now?
36.
36.
Yeah.
That's young.
I still feel young. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm turning 32 this month, and I feel old. You know?
I mean, I physically feel old sometimes, you know.
I've got horrible genes. Everyone I speak to looks so young. And I'm like, this has got to be Northern California air. That's what it is.
Maybe. I mean, I was in SoCal with all the smog. So
I know.
who knows?
We get the fires up here.
All the flex fumes, you know.
Oh, yes. That's what it is. Luckily, I'm taking a break. I hand that off to everyone else now, unless they need to solder on a cable for an iWatch and they don't have the precision. So it's like, I'll do the real small stuff for you. But after I move, it's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah. So when do you plan on moving? When is that?
It's supposed to be November 1st. Hard date is November 8th. But the moving company starts taking everything November 1st. My wife posted a funny little U-Haul to just get the in-laws all mad. Like, oh, they're moving early. It was the neighbors who were moving to Wyoming next door. And, you know, lawmakers keep saying, no, it's not troves of people leaving. It's everyone on my block on the hospital grid, for one, which is more desired rentals and homeowners, that the property should be bought and sold quickly because it's on the power grid, right? It never goes dark. Is running for their lives, just escaping. And I couldn't believe it when I started seeing U-Hauls over the last 3 months. I think we've got half the homes empty on our road. It's either posted or resold, people moving in, moving out. But we have troves of people walking down the street every day.
When we were moving, we booked the U-Haul about a month before, and then the rep was like, that's a good idea you did this, because we're literally sold out of U-Hauls, and you have to book like a month in advance to have one, because everyone's leaving California and the U-Hauls stay out of California, so they don't have that many coming back.
Yeah. I think we got a 26-footer that I pick up on the 2nd, and we have a moving company that's going to move most of our stuff on the 1st.
Nice.
So we're going to drive one car down. I still haven't gotten a company to take my Tesla because my wife doesn't want to drive it there. Yeah. So now I got to get somebody to drive my Tesla out because I'll have to drive the U-Haul. So it's going to be fun. But I'm going to do something different with the store in Oklahoma. It's going to be more of I'll do repairs. I do 3D printing, modeling, and I don't know if you've seen, I've got a home goods business where I do rug tufting, slime, a little bit of everything, anything home goods based.
Oh, okay, nice.
I don't know, just newer stuff with the kids I pick up. Yeah, so it's one of those things. The home goods business is good. You know, those damn rug tufting is a weirdly satisfying job. You know, it's just making stuff with your hands. It's nice. But no, I was going to say, I appreciate you coming on, man. Anything you want to say to the viewers? I'll post it in the group.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking to solder, you know, there's lots of free information on there. That's how I learned, you know, YouTube videos, Facebook groups. You know, don't be afraid. I see a lot of people who would rather message me directly than post a question publicly, because I think they're just scared or ashamed people are going to mock them. You know,
I've been one of those people.
Yeah. I would say, you know, if you're really interested in learning how to solder, super profitable. And it's, you know, there's a lot of demand for it. I mean, I can't keep up. That means there's not enough people out there doing it. So, you know, take the leap of faith, buy the tools, put it on a credit card, and pay it off as soon as possible with the with the repairs you're doing. So, and
most shop owners have financing that you can buy it from us. Just saying.
Yeah.
Acima will finance anything and order it for you. What's the the class that you're doing with Ben right now?
Yeah, so we have it's a 90-day online mentorship program. So it's not just soldering training, but it's also how to implement soldering into your business and have it be profitable. We basically teach you like not to spend 12 hours on a rabbit hole device. There's a lot of bad habits that a lot of techs take on. They're more of the tech side than business side.
Yeah.
So we do kind of try to enforce that mindset, to consider the business part and the profitable part. So we train you with soldering, how to price things, how to set up a nice workflow so you're efficient with your time. So like everything, so that if you take our program at the other side, you're actually profitable and happy and stuff like that.
That's great, man. And that's a Pro Fixer, right? The course?
Yeah, it's a Pro Fixer repair shop accelerator program.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, Jesse. It's been great. For anyone who doesn't know, hit the like, hit the subscribe, share, please. We appreciate it. And then we'll see you next time.
Life can be super happy, life can be super sad. I'm trying super hard to separate the good and bad. I go back to my future just to get to my past. But knowing me, my DeLorean will probably